Forget track standing and bunny hops. You're not going to believe what other things can be done with a bike. We're used to looking at cycling as a race-oriented sport, but athletes competing in artistic cycling show how much cooler its expressive, technical side can be. It's a category of indoor cycling and includes cycleball. Both are weird, yet mesmerizing. Here's everything you know and some world champions you didn't know you needed to know about. First up, what exactly is artistic cycling? Nothing will prepare you for it before you head into an arena to watch a championship of artistic cycling. Contested as a singles, pairs, or four-person team event, artistic cycle is kind of the pommel horse of artistic gymnastics, with just a bit of synchronized swimming thrown in as well. It utilizes odd-looking fixed-gear bikes that feature a big, flat saddle and upside-down handlebars. Bizarre, we know. The athletes compete in a routine, which is then scored by judges based on difficulty and execution. Any single component has the potential to leave your average punter with a handful of broken bones or some serious crotch-based trauma. What else can you expect when examples of components include things like a headstand to the saddle, a jump from the seat onto the handlebar, or a handstand on the narrow bars, all while the bike is still in motion. At some point during team events, members may even roll their bikes off the court and jump onto the shoulders of their teammates, who then proceed to roll around on a single wheel. It's like watching a circus act, the perfect combination of graceful, skillful, and goofy. That's one type of indoor cycling. Up next, the second type is cycleball, and it's just as weird. This is a male-dominated sport with two teams of riders, each maneuvering a handball-sized ball toward a goal. But it's not bike polo, if that's what you're thinking. There are no mallets involved. The bike is what the players use to move and navigate the ball. They use an array of flicks and swipes of the front wheel to make that happen. Cycleball is divided into two halves, with each half of 10 minutes. The team with the most goals in the time limit wins. There's only one rule in cycleball. You can only attack from the ball side. But then again, that's a rule that's stretched by pretty much every defender. That's how the commentator on the UCI livestream put it. Essentially, the inscrutability of the game adds significantly to its overall charm. Also, it's a pretty niche affair, as you've probably already gathered. There aren't very many spectators. It isn't very widely covered either, with none of the usual photographers present to record it. In terms of coverage, the UCI put up a live-streamed 7-hour-long video of the Indoor Cycling World Championship, which was held in Ghent, Belgium this year. The stream was weirdly silent for the first 22 minutes. There wasn't much else going on other than a bit of on-mic breathing and key tapping to announce the arrival of the commentator. For the first hour and 10 minutes, there wasn't any noise from the crowd either, just eerily silent single-camera shots of applause, and absolutely no music to accompany the artistic cycling. When they finally fixed the technical complications, you could tell that the crowd that was present was actually quite loud, especially during the cycleball events. The noise was especially surprising considering that the stadium was half empty. Moving on, Belgium is one of the smallest established indoor cycling nations. In approximately 90 years of major international championships for cycleball and artistic cycling, only 6 of the UCI World Championships for indoor cycling have taken place in Belgium, but the 7th edition that was held in Belgium this year is the second within just 5 years, after a period of over 3 decades since the last one was held in Genk in 1986. Given the niche nature of both disciplines, there aren't really a lot of nations competing against each other. Every event was won by a competitor from either Germany, Austria, or Switzerland, with some combination of the three typically occupying the steps on the podium. Spain did win 1 bronze, but that too was at the hands of a rider who had lived pretty much his entire life in Germany. Hong Kong scored a bronze in the Act 4, but then again, there were only 3 teams competing. It was a largely German affair, especially at the pointy end of the proceedings. That being said, there was a kind of endearingness to the World Championships, perhaps because, given the nicheness of the sport, it's still free of the oftentimes stuffy bureaucracy that has plagued most competitive sports. Also, things weren't very stage-managed, which gave it a lighter and overall more enjoyable vibe. Before we talk about the winners, let's talk a little about the World Cup. The UCI Artistic Cycling World Cup is a competition series over 4 events, 3 preliminary tournaments, and the World Cup final. The disciplines include single women, single men, pair women, pair open, and artistic cycling team 4 open. The eligibility for participation in the first, second, and third tournament of the Cup depends on the highest ranking of each nation in the respective discipline at the recent UCI Indoor Cycling World Championships. For the World Cup ranking, World Cup points are awarded to each rider, pair, or Act 4 team for the 3 preliminary rounds. The best 10 riders of each discipline qualified for the final. The points given in the preliminaries also count in the final. Here are some repeat winners and new UCI World Champions from the final day of the event. The last day of competition in Belgium saw rainbow bands go to Austria's Patrick Schnetzer and Steffa Feuerstein in cycleball. In artistic ball, Lucas Cole was awarded with his 6th UCI World title, while Sophie Marie Worrell and Caroline Worth were crowned in the pair women competition for the first time ever. As unbeaten winners in the preliminary rounds, the Austrians won the semis against Belgium, then again in the final against defending UCI World Champions Germany. Schnetzer had suffered 2 serious shoulder injuries and a double fracture of his collarbone just this past year and hadn't been allowed to lift his arm higher than 90 degrees for around 6 weeks until September. With muscle building, however, he was fit just in time, not just to participate in the UCI World Championships, but to walk away with his 8th UCI World title. Adding to that, Germany and Switzerland made it to the cycleball podium as well. Dethroned UCI World Champions Bernd and Gerhard Milady walked away disappointed. The host team, Belgium, was also denied a win as Brecht Dahmen and Niels Dierks played their last tournament. In the match for a bronze, they went against Severin and Benjamin Wabel of Switzerland, but lost that one as well. In the regulation playoff, the Czech Republic secured their place in Group A after their win against Group B winners Japan. Also, in artistic cycling, Lucas Cole secured his 6th men's title. This talented German artistic cyclist from Kircherenbach has dominated the indoor arena since his very first UCI World Championships title in 2016. Since then, he's gone on to win a whopping 6 UCI World titles and remains unbeaten. The 26-year-old was at the peak of his artistic cycling career in Ghent, seeming completely unfazed by a small mistake in the final. He finished at 208.20 points, higher than the routine starting values of those chasing his title. Second and third went to 2 Germans as well, Marcel Jungling and Emilio Arellano, respectively. The national coach of the German U19s, Jungling, demonstrated a perfect routine, except for one fall, and delivered a total of 196.41 points. This was his 2nd silver, with the first being in 2019. Third placed Emilio Arellano, the son of former UCI World Championships silver medalist Jose Arellano, won bronze with a total of 189.78 points. Finally, 4th place went to Hungary's Martin Schoen, who holds the record for the number of participations at the UCI Indoor Cycling World Championships. More importantly, the women weren't far behind. In artistic cycling, Sophie Marie Worrell and Caroline Worth of Gutach, Germany, earned 3 silver medals and almost landed themselves on the 2nd step of the podium. They had some problems during 2 pirouette figures, which cost the European champions some valuable points to win the UCI World title. The first part of their routine went extremely well, but they seemed to have become a little nervous in the second part. But they still walked away with the rainbow jersey in the women pair. The defending UCI World champions, Selina Marquardt and Helen Vordermeier of Germany, had to settle for the runner-up spot. In qualification, they took the lead thanks to their excellent presentation, just missing their personal best by a tiny bit. But in the finale, they lost decisive points because of one element, and that ultimately cost them the gold. Finally, 3rd place went to Rosa Kopf and Svenja Bachmann from Austria. The UCI Indoor Cycling World Championship will be held in Glasgow, Scotland next year and is set to be a 3-day event starting on the 11th of August. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Were you familiar with artistic cycling before this? Let us know all your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. See you next time. Bye!